$210,000. That is your first year on one side. On the other, it is 330. Same business school, same 3 interviews in the same October, 2 offers on the same afternoon. On one side, you take the consulting firm. On the other, you take the bank. You are going to live both. The gap is $120,000. Everyone will tell you it closes later. They are right about that. They are wrong about who is standing where when it does. Level 1. The Analysts. On the bank side, you start in July. 3 weeks of training, 90 of you in a room in Midtown. Everyone learning to build the same model. Then you are on a coverage team, Industrials. You get a Bloomberg terminal and a headset you will never use once. Your first task is a comparable company's analysis, 11 names. You finish at 2 in the morning. You are proud of it. At 9 the next day, a vice president changes the peer set. You do it again. He is not being cruel. The peer set was wrong. You would not have known that. You work 85 hours that week. You will average close to that for 2 years. Your base is $175,000. There is a signing bonus. There is a year-end number nobody confirms until January. $330,000, all in, at 28. You buy nothing. There is no time. There is nowhere to be. Your flatmate sees you on Sundays. That is the whole social calendar. The money sits in an account accumulating like weather. There is a particular hour on this desk, 1:30 in the morning. The floor is empty except for 3 analysts and a cleaner. Somebody orders food nobody eats. You learn things in that hour that nobody teaches in the 3 weeks of training. You learn which vice president answers at 2 and which one does not. You learn that a model is never wrong at midnight for a technical reason. It is wrong because somebody upstairs changed his mind at 6. On the consulting side, you start in September. 2 weeks of training in a hotel outside a city that is not yours. There is a case competition. There is a dinner. You meet 40 people from your intake. You will know 8 of them for 20 years. Then you are staffed. A supply chain project for a food manufacturer in Ohio. Monday morning, 5:30, the airport. Same flight, same seat, same coffee. Every Monday for 5 months. You live in a hotel 4 nights a week. The gym is in the basement. You know which treadmill is broken. The plant smells like hot oil and cardboard. You stop noticing it in week 3. You eat with the client team most days. A canteen with laminated tables. They talk about their kids and a football team you do not follow. You listen more than you speak. By month 4, a shift supervisor tells you something he has not told his own management. He tells you the line runs slower on Thursdays because of how the maintenance rota is written. That one sentence is worth more than the 11 interviews above him. Nobody sent you to find it. Your total is $210,000, 120 less than the other you. You notice that number. You will notice it every February for 6 years. Both of you are 28. Both of you make slides that older men present. One of you is learning what a business is worth. The other is learning why it works. Nobody tells you those are different educations. Nobody tells you that only one of them travels. Level 2, the ones who get to speak. On the consulting side, year 2 puts you in front of a client. It is not a big moment. 14 minutes on a plant utilization study. 8 people in the room. One of them is an operations director named Ray. He has been at that company since he was 19. Ray asks a question you cannot answer. It is a good question and it is not hostile. You say you will come back to him. You do, on Thursday. He remembers that you did. He mentions it a year later. That is the entire skill of this job, and you just learned it in 1 week. You are staffed on 4 projects that year. 4 industries. 4 sets of vocabulary. You are becoming a person who can walk into any room and be useful by Friday. You are also becoming a person who has never seen anything he recommended actually happen. That sounds like a small thing at 29. It is not. You are learning to be right. You are not learning to be responsible. Those two feel identical from the inside for about 6 years. You hand over the deck, you get on a plane. Somebody else does the hard part, or does not. 18 months later, you look up that food manufacturer. Out of curiosity, on a Sunday. They implemented about 1/3 of it. The maintenance rota is still wrong. The partner told the client it was a success. It was, by the only measure that firm uses, which is whether the client hired them again. They did. Twice. Your total is $280,000. On the bank side, year 2 is when the deal closes. $2.1 billion. 11 months of your life. You are named on nothing. There is no document anywhere with your name on it. At 3 in the morning, in a printer room, you get the version with the final numbers in it. What you feel is not happiness. It is closer to relief with a spine in it. You know the target better than most people who work there. You know its receivables aging by heart. 9 days later, you are on a new deal. You have already started forgetting the last one. 18 months after it closes, the company you helped sell cuts 400 jobs. You read it on your phone on a Tuesday. You feel almost nothing. Not because you are cold, because it is genuinely not yours. You built the model. Somebody else set the price. Somebody else signed. Somebody else runs it now. You will feel that same nothing about 11 more companies before you are 30. Your total is $450,000. You have not been to a dentist in 2 years. You mean to go. You genuinely mean to. One of you is paid to know one company completely for 11 months. The other to know 40 companies partially, forever. Level 3. The exits. Here is where the two roads stop looking similar. It happens faster than you expect. On the bank side, the recruiters call in your first year. That is the system working. Private equity, growth equity, a hedge fund. Everyone you trained with is going somewhere. The process itself is absurd, and everybody accepts it. Interviews happen on a Saturday, 18 months before the job starts. You cannot tell your bank. You take a car to an office you have never been to, in a suit, on your one free day, having slept 4 hours. You are asked to build a model in 90 minutes on a laptop that is not yours. You take a private equity seat at 32, $540,000. Same work, better hours, and a share of something at the end. This is the plan working exactly as designed. The bank was never the destination. It was the filter, and you passed it. On the consulting side, your exits are different. There are more of them, and they pay less. Strategy at a technology company. Chief of staff to a chief executive. A portfolio operations role. Employee 11 at a startup. You take the corporate strategy job at 33. $290,000. That is $250,000 behind the other you. You tell people you took it for the life. That is true. It is not the whole truth. The whole truth is that the megafund seats never called. They were never going to. You have never built a leveraged buyout model. 4 years of learning why businesses work, and the door that pays best wants a skill nobody taught you. That is the first moment you understand what you actually bought at 28. 210 against 330 at the start. 540 against 290 now. Pick one. Now, before you know how this ends, almost everyone picks the same one. Nobody in this story is being stupid. One of you bought optionality inside finance. The other bought optionality outside it. Only one of those two markets is about to get much smaller. Level 4. The narrowing. Start on the private equity side this time. The order changes here. Year 8. You are a principal. 1.3 million, with carry starting to vest. You know your sector completely. Industrials, mid-market, 4 to 8 times earnings. You can price a business in a morning. Very few people alive can do that. And here is what nobody says out loud at 36. You are now unemployable outside a 50-mile radius of what you already do. You test it once, out of curiosity. A friend's company needs a chief financial officer. The conversation is friendly. It ends with a sentence you keep for years. He says you have never run anything. He is right. You have diligenced 11 companies. You have never made a payroll. You have never hired anyone. You have never been shouted at by a customer. You have judged 100 businesses. You have not run one for a single day. You go back to the fund. You are extremely well paid. The walls are closer than they were at 28, and nobody in the building would call that a problem. There is a partner at your firm who is 54. He is the reason you can see it. He is excellent. He is also visibly aware that there are 2 seats above him and 4 people below him who want his. He has been at 3 firms in 9 years. Each move was reported as a promotion. You do the arithmetic on his moves one evening. Each firm was slightly smaller than the last one. Nobody reported it that way. Now the corporate side. Year 8 looks worse on paper. It is not. You are a vice president of strategy, 440,000. You have done two things the other you has not. You have owned a profit and loss statement. $14 million of revenue. It was yours. 1 quarter it was down. You have also fired someone, properly, with a plan, on a Tuesday. It took you 3 weeks to recover. Nobody lists those two things as skills. They are the only things anybody senior actually screens for. Ray retires that year. The operations director from Ohio, 9 years ago. He sends a message on the professional network. 2 sentences. He says he still uses the way you laid out that utilization study. You read it twice. It is worth more to you than the last 3 bonuses. You would not admit that to a single person you work with. One of you is paid more each year to do a narrower thing, the other less to do a wider one. Level 5. The seats. On the private equity side, you are 44 and you are a partner. 3.1 million this year. Carry that will pay out something near 9 over 4 years. All in, since business school, about $18 million. Say the number properly. 18 million. Before 45. There is no honest version of this video where that is a bad outcome. That is the answer to the question the thumbnail asked. It arrives 16 years late. Your life is 4 investment committee meetings a month and 11 flights a year. You are good at this. You have been good at it for a decade. You will be good at it for 1 more, and then it will end. It always ends at this level. There is no version of you at 58 in this seat unless you are running the firm. 11 people at your fund are trying to be the person who runs the firm. 2 of them are better at politics than you. On the corporate side, you are 44 and you are a chief operating officer. 960,000 plus equity worth somewhere between nothing and 4 million. All in, about 8 million. 10 less than the other you. You run 900 people. You do not know all their names. You know what all of them do. You know the site in Kentucky. You know why it underperforms. It is not the equipment. It is a manager who is loyal and slow, and you have not fixed it, and you think about him on Sundays. That is the job, not strategy. 900 versions of one slow manager, and which ones you have the stomach to touch. Nobody warned you about that either. It is not in any deck. When something breaks at 2 in the morning, they call you. That is not a burden. That is a definition. Last spring, a private equity firm bought a competitor and installed a partner as chairman. You sat across from him. 45, extremely sharp, had never operated anything in his life. He asked 6 questions. You answered all of them without a slide. He was the smartest person in that room, and he was not the most useful one. 2 weeks later, he called you directly. Not through anyone, just called. He wanted to know how you would sequence a plant closure. Which order? Who to tell first? You talked for 40 minutes. You did most of the talking. He was not being generous. He needed it, and there was nobody inside his own firm who had ever done it. You put the phone down and sat there for a second, and something rearranged itself about the last 16 years. And that is the thing neither of you priced at 22, because both of you were sold the same word, optionality. The bank sold it as a filter. Do 2 brutal years and every door opens. The firm sold it as a training. Do 4 broad years and you can go anywhere. Both were telling the truth about the first 5 years. Neither was talking about year 16. By then, one of you has options that all sit inside one industry, priced in the same currency, exposed to the same fundraising cycle, dependent on the same 12 people taking your calls. The other has options in 100 industries. None of them pay like the first. All of them still exist when private capital has a bad decade. Nobody chose that. You both just took the best offer in front of you, every time, for 16 years. That is not a strategy. It is a series of extremely reasonable Tuesdays. Somewhere this October, 2 people are getting 2 offers on the same afternoon. One says 330,000, one says 210. Both of them will call a parent that evening. Both parents will be proud in slightly different ways. Neither call will contain a single sentence about what the work does to a person over 16 years. The gap is real. It closes. Then it reopens. Then it closes again. What the gap never tells you is which one of you is still allowed to change his mind at 50. One of you was paid to be certain. The other was paid to be adaptable. Only one of those gets more valuable as the world gets stranger. If you want the same split with no client and no boss, watch the founder one next. Two people build the same company. One takes money to grow, one refuses, and the bigger headline turns out to be the smaller life.